Yeah. Say we back with another one. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Um, say listen. We reacting to how good was Shannon Sharp actually. I think this shit gonna be fine because there's only three things that are certain in life. That what? Uh Texas, death, and 85 gonna always be open. If you know, you know. Let's go.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's popping in. D Boss here. Actually, this bit by Blitz. It's titled "How Good Was Shannon Sharp Actually?" I definitely need to know this because I know nothing about his football career. I just know that he used to play back in the day, and I know he was fine. I saw those old pictures. He was fine. I don't even want to say was though. He's still a very attractive man. But yeah, I don't know anything about his stats or anything. So I need to know. I especially need to know because I've been on TikTok and I see clips pop up of him, coming for Ocho and being like, I don't know if you actually any good. Like he's always questioning his athleticism, So I'm like, what about you though? Like, were you actually good when you played? I definitely need to know this. So he about to let us know. Let's watch.
For all you youngsters who think Shannon Sharp is just a media personality, oh boy, are you wrong. Unlike his talk show counterparts, Buck could ball. Not only is he a Hall of Famer with 3 Super Bowl rings, but he revolutionized the tight end position and forever changed the way an NFL offense operates. As one of the biggest personalities in NFL history, Shannon loved to talk on and off the field.
I mean, it makes sense though, because that's why he's a personality today. Usually the, top personalities in sports, they used to play and they were good. Yeah. That's why people value their opinions. So, I mean, obviously it makes sense that he wasn't trash.
But he always backed it up. So, how good was he actually? And where does he rank among the greatest tight ends of all time?
Yeah, we need specifics.
Sharp was born into a poor family in Glenville, Georgia. His parents split when he was just 3 months old, immediately giving him adversity to overcome. Basic needs were not guaranteed in the rural South, and neither was his family's safety. In fact, during his Hall of Fame speech, Sharp explained that we were so poor, a robber once broke into our house, and we ended up robbing the robber. To make matters worse, Sharp's father...
Stop it. Stop it. Robbing the robber is wild. Robbing the robber is out of pocket.
Passed away from cancer when he was in his early teens, leaving him without a father figure for a large part of his youth. Luckily for Shannon and his siblings, his grandmother, Mary Porter, stepped in to raise them. Porter also helped take care of several other extended family members.
See, my grandmother and grandfather, they raised me, and I hung on everything they say, but they didn't know it.
So everyone lived packed into one small...
This makes sense because he got a real old soul. And I mean, obviously he's older, but it's like, no. He seems like he has a much older soul than his age, so that makes sense.
Barely fit for a family of 4.
There was no paneling in the house. There was no insulation in the house. It was basically cinder block. It was really cold in the winter.
But while the Sharp family didn't have much, what Shannon and his older brother Sterling did have was sports. That was going to be their way out. At Glenville High School, Sterling was a superstar athlete playing basketball, football, and running track. He became a high-profile football recruit that took his talents to the University of South Carolina. Shannon had hoped to follow in his brother's footsteps, and as an athlete, he did. He was also a star multi-sport athlete, but in the classroom, he struggled. So his only offer came from the local Division II school, Savannah State. Sharp would continue to play multiple sports at Savannah, playing basketball, competing in track and field events, and suiting up for the Tigers football team. But it was quickly obvious that the gridiron was where Sharp was at his best. Shannon set many records.
He was funny looking until he got to college. No shame.
192 receptions for 3,740.
So if you out
there, funny looking is crazy.
Are you funny looking and you're still like a teenager? There's hope for you. You might grow into your looks. So.
Yards and 40 touchdowns over 4 years. And while Shannon was dominating the inferior D2 competition, his brother Sterling was doing the same at USC, then in the NFL. At South Carolina, Sterling set nearly every receiving record, which led to him being drafted 7th overall by the Green Bay Packers in 1988.
The Instagram algorithm has recently changed, and if you've been seeing a decrease in the amount of reach that you're getting, it's probably not your fault. It's probably just that you haven't been adapting to the latest Instagram algorithm. For example, Instagram now favors a different type of engagement. They also
Then, by just his second year in the NFL, he was already a first-team All-Pro. But despite his brother's instant success, nobody was paying close attention to Shannon.
I'm the best, Sterling. I'm better than you are, you know it.
The NFL was far different 30-plus years ago, and tight ends were expected to be closer physically to offensive tackles than wide receivers. While Sterling was the ideal NFL wide receiver, Shannon was just a tweener with good stats. The future NFL legend was written off and seen as a project rather than a weapon. Little did they know, Shannon would go on to change the course of the tight end position
That probably
forever.
really
After
motivated him to
grueling
be
6
better.
rounds undrafted in the 1990 NFL Draft,
That round 1 was off the table, but I thought I was good enough to be a second or third round draft pick.
the Denver Broncos took a shot on the undersized tight end.
And I picked up the phone and it was the Broncos. And they said, we selected you in the 7th round.
But like other teams' evaluations of Sharp, they didn't believe he was a tight end. Instead, they committed to playing him as a wide receiver. Denver failed. Over 1990 and 1991, Sharp's first 2 NFL seasons, he totaled just 29 receptions for 421 receiving yards. Legendary QB John Elway was leading the offense, but Sharp struggled to make an impact. And to make things worse, this was all happening while Shannon lived in the shadow of his brother Sterling. While Shannon was trying to get his footing in the NFL, Sterling continued racking up All-Pro and Pro Bowl honors for the Green Bay Packers. So Shannon struggling to make an impact only created a sense that one brother was meant for NFL greatness and the other was simply a role player. In 1992, Sharp finally broke through expectations and never looked back. Broncos head coach Dan Reeves decided to play Sharp where he belonged, at tight end, and the results were immediate. Sharp exploded for 53 receptions and 640 receiving yards, which led all tight ends in the league. The Broncos had found something special. Of course, the other NFL teams had talented tight ends that were putting up numbers, but Denver had only scratched the surface of what Sharp could become. In the 1993 season, Sharp reached new heights again, and as his relationship with John Elway grew, so did his numbers. The Broncos tight end had a whopping 81 receptions for 995 yards and 9 touchdowns. For the first time, Sharp was named first-team All-Pro. That's a special honor for any player, but it also marked the first and only time that Shannon was named to the squad during the same year as his brother Sterling. Shannon was no longer living in his brother's shadow. Instead, they were shining together. Sadly, the Sharp brothers didn't get a chance to complete that feat again after Sterling suffered a career-ending neck injury that forced him into early retirement. Sterling's career was robbed from him after just 7 NFL seasons. It was a gridiron tragedy that
I was just
Sterling
thinking too, like, what happened to his brother? Like, why, didn't his brother get nearly as popular?
who looked
That's
destined to be a Hall of Famer, could not keep playing in the NFL alongside Shannon.
But I played football because my brother played. And man, it broke my heart when he said it was over.
As heartbreaking as Sterling's injury was, it only added further motivation for Shannon. The Broncos tight end was dedicated to representing the Sharp name, and he would eventually get the chance to honor his brother's playing career with the ultimate tribute. However, Sharp was still relentless in pursuing his ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl title. By 1995, the Broncos had built a team that could match up with anyone offensively, and it was time to take advantage of that. But it didn't come easy. The Broncos struggled in the 95 season under new head coach Mike Shanahan, failing to make the playoffs at 8-8. Frustratingly for Sharp, the Denver defense let them down on several occasions, while the offense finished third in the NFL in total yards. Even worse, Sharp missed significant time due to an injury for the first time in his career. The Broncos tight end only started 12 games, but still scored 4 touchdowns and totaled 756 receiving yards, the second most of any NFL tight end that season. Performing at that level while injured only further proved Sharp's talent and toughness, and he was rewarded for playing through injury as he was named to the Pro Bowl for the third consecutive year. In 96, the Broncos began to realize their potential, and in his second year as head coach, Shanahan leaned on Sharp as the Broncos started the campaign with an astonishing 12-1 record. They went on to outscore opponents 391 to 275 that season, finishing the year 13-3. With Sharp being the key reason for their offensive success. In 15 games, Sharp brought down 80 receptions for 1,062 yards and a career-high 10 touchdowns. And as he was torching opponent defenses, he would let them know about it. The New England Patriots found that out the hard way. In the middle of a dominant 34-8 win, Sharp pulled out a red telephone on the sideline and infamously shouted,
"President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots.
Unfortunately, trash talking can't come back
That's
to
funny.
haunt. And for Sharp, that season, it did. While the Patriots would go on to play in the Super Bowl, Denver suffered a shocking 30-27 upset to the Jacksonville Jaguars in their first playoff game. Sharp and the Broncos were back to square one. Over that 96 season, they had become the team to beat in the NFL. And getting beat in the first round of the playoffs wasn't part of the script. Considering that John Elway was now 37, time was running out. But after being humbled, the Broncos had a chip on their shoulder entering the 97 season. Denver won their opening 6 games, with Sharp bringing down 18 receptions for 266 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad start, but the best was yet to come for the Broncos tight end. Over the next 10 games, Sharp crossed the 80-yard mark 5 times.
Hi, I'm Aliyah. Come on in. It's time to get to school, and we better hurry or we're going to be late.
While he only reached the end zone 3 times in that regular season, his 1,107 receiving yards was truly incredible. In fact, no other tight end that season even came close to matching him. Sharp beat the next closest competitor by 320 yards. In terms of pure impact, his 15.3 yards per catch that season was vital to the Broncos' success. But Sharp's goal wasn't to lead the NFL in various stats. It was to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. To do that, they would need to exorcise the demons of the 96 season by beating the Jags in another postseason opener. They did more than just beat them. Denver dominated Jacksonville in their postseason rematch, winning 42-17. Then, in the AFC Championship game, they played against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sharp made multiple key receptions down the stretch in a close 24-21 win. Finally, after 8 seasons, Sharp was playing for a ring. Years and years of struggle, success, and falling just short had culminated in the Super Bowl 32 bout against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers were the defending champs and the favorite, but the Broncos got hot early, jumping out to a 17-7 lead. Sharp didn't get in the end zone, but Elway always looked to him as his security blanket, targeting Sharp a team-high 5 times. In a Super Bowl classic, Denver and Green Bay traded blows before the game was tied at 24-all in the fourth quarter. That tie was broken with little time remaining as Terrell Davis reached the end zone for the Broncos at the 1:45 mark in the fourth quarter. Denver's defense held up on the following drive, and the Lombardi Trophy swapped hands to the Broncos. The narratives around John Elway finally reaching the top of the mountain dominated the national media, but Sharp's journey deserved just as much press. A 7th-round pick out of Savannah State was now a Super Bowl champion, and Sharp would finally get to honor the cut-short career of his brother Sterling. Shannon gifted his Super Bowl ring to Sterling.
And we're doing an interview with NBC, and we're sitting down talking. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give him the Super Bowl ring.
Some things are bigger than personal
That's
success,
adorable.
and the Sharp brothers clearly understand that. But what do you do after you accomplish your ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl? You do it again, and you do it in even more dominant fashion. After an impressive 12-4 regular season campaign in their first Super Bowl season, the Broncos followed that up with a 14-2 run in 1998. Denver dismantled their opponents, initially starting on a 13-0 streak to open the season. So much for the Super Bowl slump, huh? The stats were wild. Sharp and the Broncos scored 31.3 points per game, establishing themselves as one of the most dynamic offenses in NFL history. In 18 total games played, Denver won 15 games by 2 scores or more, including all 3 of their playoff games. Sharp didn't cross the 1,000-yard receiving mark, but he did reach 10 touchdowns for the second time in his career. For a 3rd consecutive year, Sharp was named a first-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. It was a storybook ending for Elway, who retired at the end of the season.
I just can't compete at the level in this game that I want to compete at anymore.
For Sharp, that was a huge deal. The only quarterback he had ever really known in the NFL was gone, and now the Broncos had to start again with someone new. And unfortunately for Sharp, it just didn't pan out. He had multiple injuries in 1999, limiting him to just 5 total appearances. By the following offseason in 2000, the 4-time All-Pro was a free agent, and he was going to take his talents elsewhere. After 10 seasons in Denver, Sharp joined a talented Baltimore Ravens team for the 2000 season. The Ravens boasted 2 legendary running backs in Jamal Lewis and Priest Holmes, but sorely lacked a downfield threat. So that's where Sharp came in. Baltimore prided itself on its defense, but Sharp took them to a new level on offense, and the numbers prove it. The veteran tight end led the entire squad in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, with 810 yards and 5 scores. The Ravens went from an 8-8 team in 1999 to a powerhouse that finished 12-4 in 2000. Somehow, that record didn't win the AFC Central. due to the Tennessee Titans going 13-3. Sharp and the Ravens would have the last laugh. To open the postseason, Baltimore dismantled Sharp's former team. The Ravens beat the Broncos 21-3 as Sharp exploded for 3 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Now, Sharp and Baltimore got their shot at the Titans in the divisional round after a fairly close game to start.
I get it.
Okay.
Finding the perfect engagement ring to level up your relationship isn't easy. When it comes
The Ravens broke the contest open in the fourth quarter to win 24-10. Sharp only made 1 catch, but it was a monstrous 53-yard grab that was a huge momentum shifter for Baltimore. And that huge catch against the Titans was a foreshadowing of the AFC Championship clash with the Oakland Raiders. In a 16-3 victory,
Raiders!
Sharp made the most famous play of his career.
My daddy was a huge
Catching
Raiders
pass
fan.
at the Ravens' 12-yard line, Sharp ran all the way down the field for a 96-yard touchdown.
He probably
It was
still
the
is,
only
actually.
touchdown in Baltimore's victory
Even though
and
they in
the
Vegas
longest
now, right?
score of Sharp's career.
Man, I don't know any team, bro. But the way it's looking, bro was like that. Bro was really him, bro. He got he got touched, come on, bro. He was putting up numbers. Especially, bro, you can see, they say they moved him to a team and a team elevated. So, he carried, bro. They were good on defense, and he became the whole offensive structure on his own. He was carrying, bro. That shit crazy.
After 3 exceptional games, Sharp had once again reached the Super Bowl. Sharp made just 1 catch for 5 yards in the big game, but Baltimore defeated the New York Giants 34-7 for the team's first ever Super Bowl victory. Sharp would spend 1 more season with the Ravens, going for 811 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in 2001. He was
Hey, you see how she just yawned and then I yawned, bro? That's crazy.
named to his final Pro Bowl that season, marking his 8th appearance. The Ravens would not replicate their previous
You watching this, you probably yawned too, nigga. Yeah.
postseason success, losing in the divisional round.
And as painful as it is to say this, they have a better football team than what we got.
But Sharp had made his mark in Charm City and had a Super Bowl ring to show for it. To wrap up his career, Shannon returned to Denver. To no one's surprise, he was still a massive problem for opposing defenses. Over 28 games in his final 2 years, Sharp racked up 1,456 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. Tight ends today are some of the most game-breaking weapons in the NFL, combining speed and size to create the ultimate mismatch. They have Shannon Sharp to thank for that, being arguably the most influential player to ever play that position. To this day, Sharp is still top 5 among tight ends in receptions and receiving yards. He is, without a doubt, a top 5 tight end in NFL history. His legacy was cemented in 2011 when he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His presence on television and social media has made Sharp...
What the fuck did Stephen A. Smith do? What did he do? What is his legacy? I need to know, because he talk a lot of shit and he better be able to back it up. Did he even play sports? It's not given that. I need to look that up.
Social media has made Sharp more famous than ever. Even people who don't watch football know who he is, thanks to memes and clips of Sharp doing his thing. But it's important to remember why he was put on TV in the first place. It's because he always has had the game to go along with the gab. For more of the best NFL...
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, he had a serious glow up too. He was also funny looking. Wow. Okay, Shannon, he was out here killing it. I didn't know he was in the fucking Hall of Fame. That's crazy. I respect it, and he has the right to talk shit now. Because at first I was like, damn, he always coming for somebody's athleticism and saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I see why. He talk a good game, but he able to back it up because, he was one of the greats, apparently. I did not know that, but I don't know much about football, so, there's that. But yeah, this is such a dope success story. I love this for him because I love Shannon. He does have a great personality. But yeah, it's dope that he was actually a good athlete as well. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch and I'll see you on the next time. Bye.
Bye. Hey. Yeah. Hey, catch y'all on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know nothing about football, bro, but I like to try it, bro. So, yeah. Hey, catch y'all on the next